Well, hello there. Welcome. Old Skipper here. I see Christopher Ties in the house. Welcome to our weekly chat. This is going to be an interesting one today because it was probably one of the most complex storylines that I've read in many, many years. So I'm going to try very, very hard to go through it all. And there's Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. Yeah, it's actually the story of the Massacre of Fort St. Jean. And of course, we'll have our numismatic discussion afterwards. But this is an incredibly interesting story and far more complicated than any of the other ones that I had read about before. Essentially, we're back in New France again. Period between 1540 and 1666 is where everything has taken place. And to give you a little bit of a foreshadowing of the events that took place at Fort St. Jean, we have to take a look at the situation in North America at the time. And now, first off, let's not get Fort St. Jean mixed up with Fort St. Jean in France or Fort St. Jean Baptiste in Louisiana. This Fort St. Jean come out of the need of a group of individuals who were forced to leave Acadia. They were actually driven out of their homes by another French force. And that's one of the things that I really want to touch on, is that in North America at that time, you didn't have just Indians against Indians, and forgive the term, but that's basically what they were called back then. You didn't have, you had Indians against English, Indians against French, French against French, French against English, English against Dutch, Dutch against French. It was a mess. Monarchs, in their infinite wisdom, decided that North America was theirs, especially the English and French monarchs. Louis and Charles at the time, they laid claim based on when their earliest explorers came. Well, John Cabot was actually earliest. And so the English laid claim to North America. And then 50 years or so later, along comes, and I can't even pronounce the gentleman's name, came along, and he declared that he had discovered North America, and that was for France. And France, of course, they claimed all the territories from the St. Lawrence all the way to Florida. And the English did very close to the very same thing. So now you've got all these different groups that are settling along, especially along the coastline, this Boston and all the way down to Virginia and up into the Montreal area and into Nova Scotia, or Acadia at the time, settling down. And they were constantly on guard because they were constantly being harassed or attacked by other groups. The other thing that you got to remember too, there were huge religious differences back then. So Roman Catholicism was huge with the French, but you're talking Protestants with the English, and of course you had the Puritans, which is a whole different ballpark. You had all these different problems where they didn't mix very well. Boy, it sounds kind of like today, doesn't it? It's just crazy. So anyway, what we're looking at, it was actually the Latour family. The Latour Sr. was the one that was forced out of Acadia, and he ended up taking his band of refugees to Sable Island and set up Fort St. Jean. And of course, Senior, he was again one of these types that wasn't very very loyal. He was playing both sides of the coin, so to speak. So he was making allegiances with Britain behind the back of the French monarch, and so he was given titles to Acadia, and the French come totally unaware that he was given a baronet from the English, so that he was trying to keep everybody away from his possessions. That was his land. So anyway, the senior eventually passed away, and it was passed on to his son. And I must admit, the Latour family, they were pretty cutthroat. They wanted this land for themselves and their own people, their own idea. They even managed to get the Company of New France in, which is something like the Hudson Bay Company, to back them up. So he did get a royal charter from the king at first, but Monsieur forgive the pronunciation, Dagenot was in charge of the rest of Acadia, and he didn't like that so much. The fact that Latour had stepped into his little pool, and he was trying to gain some favors with the king. So this bickering kept going on constantly, and they kept going to the courts in France and begging the king to, get rid of the other guy. Well, eventually, Latour, by some of his own mistakes, fell out of favor with the king, and so Monsieur Dagenot, I'm going to take a quick look on this so I can pronounce his name right. It's a tongue twister. Here we go. So it's D'Aulnay, Monsieur D'Aulnay. He was the one that was his adversary. So they even went as far as making sure that they wedded into monarchy. They wanted people from the court to become part of their family, but Latour wasn't so successful. He ended up marrying a Madeline from her father was a barber, so she wasn't exactly a courtesan that he needed. But she was so bloody loyal to him, she would do absolutely anything for him. So she was his staunchest ally. She moved back, of course, to Fort Saint Jean on Sable, and they set up a homestead there, along with the few farmers and the refugees that came over from Acadia, and they were doing okay, but they were having raiding parties and stuff from D'Aulnay's group constantly, and he didn't have the resources that D'Aulnay had. D'Aulnay had the favor of the king, so he had extra men, some ships, and oh, hello, Greg. Glad to see you there. I'm just switching over to the chat here so I don't miss anybody. So D'Aulnay, he's got the ships, and he's attacking the fort constantly, and so Latour decides he was going to head down to Boston and see if he can get some of the Bostonians in on his side. Be a little bit tricky because it had been fairly recent that he had attacked a bunch of Bostonian merchants and killed a couple of them. So he had to tell a bit of a big lie, that they had in fact fired first. And so he made some peace with them, and eventually convinced the people in Boston that he was actually in charge of the French in Acadia, and he actually still had the piece of paper that the king had written to him with the seal on it. And so I guess it pays to hold on to old paperwork. He brought it to Boston. They were convinced, and they gave him several ships and some crews with the restriction that they weren't going to be attacking anybody other than transporting goods to Fort St. John and providing escort duties in case anybody did attack. But Latour was so ambitious and hated D'Aulnay so bad that he tried to convince the English captain to attack D'Aulnay's forces, and he was turned down. So he managed somehow to convince 50 of the English sailors to go on shore, and they actually burnt down a windmill and killed some cattle and stole a bunch of furs. And after that, they headed back to Boston, and he ended up with whatever booty he'd get a hold of, and he went back to Fort St. John. Well, this bickering back and forth went on for years, and D'Aulnay kept going to the king saying, "I need more men," and the king's, of course, refused, and so he had to basically work with what he had, which really delayed him getting anything done. Well, eventually, it got to the point where Madame Latour realized that, hey, we're not going to get any help from France, and we need to convince the Bostonians to continue to help us. But the only way we're going to be able to do that is through religious conversion. So they made the big step of changing their religion from Roman Catholic to Protestant. And back then, that was a huge deal. And of course, that went over very well with the Puritans and with the other Protestants. And they managed to actually rekindle a relationship with them. But again, keeping in mind that he's also got all these secret deals going on with Great Britain, even during the time when Cromwell took over after Charles was beheaded. So this is going on over and over and over again, back and forth between these essentially two French colonies in close proximity to one another. Eventually, it got to the point where D'Aulnay actually built up his forces large enough where he did lay an assault on Fort St. John. And at that time, it was not well guarded because the ships had gone to Boston to get some supplies. And Madame Latour was there, and she basically took charge of the garrison that was there at the fort. And she fought diligently for months. They were sieged. Man, literally hundreds of people were getting killed. So with that, she cursed like a trooper, or as they say, cursed like a sailor is one of the things that is well known. I think I got a picture of that right here. Okay, well, that was the marriage. And there you go. So she's fighting these guys off. Well, I don't know what is it with these French women. The last session we had was another brave French lady. So Madame Latour basically put up a red flag and swore a couple curse words at them and fired cannons at them, and they fought right down to the point where they couldn't hold off anymore. They actually had to surrender the fort, and she was put into custody. And again, not too long after this, she actually went into try to get a letter out to her husband. She got caught, was put into a cell, solitary, I guess, and she took sick, and then she ended up dying. Well, so Fort St. John is now under the rule of D'Aulnay, and D'Aulnay is not going to let it go easy. So you got Latour is now considered a rebel, and he's doing what he can to raid the colonies. I'm getting a blank now. Fort Lewis, I think it's called. I'm going to have to look it up again. If anybody knows, let me know. But he actually did attack a lot of the outposts in Acadia, and eventually D'Aulnay, by virtue of bad luck, was out on the Bay of Fundy. I've been on the Bay of Fundy. It can be, squalls come up, can be pretty rough, especially if you're in a dory or a small canoe or whatever. And ended up capsizing, held on to his boat, but he was up to his neck in water, and that Bay of Fundy water is very, very cold. So the natives managed to pull him out eventually, but he died of hypothermia. He didn't make it. So D'Aulnay's out of the picture. While you would think that Latour would be more than happy with just that, but no, he actually went back to the French king, to the court, and explained what was going on, and the fact that he felt that he deserved to be part of the the leadership of the New World and New France, and the king forgave him, which, wow, okay, he actually forgave him for all the stuff he did. And actually Latour ended up gaining back all the lands and the responsibilities that he had before all this fiasco went on. So it's really a dog's breakfast. There are literally hundreds and hundreds of people being killed, dispossessed, moved around, allegiances were changed. It's not a time that I wouldn't want to live in. I'm sure you wouldn't either. So that's basically what happened at Fort Saint Jean, and what went on in Acadia. It wasn't until after 1666 that the English finally moved in, and it went back and forth too a few times. This is post what just went on, and that's how a lot of the dispossessed of Acadia ended up going down to Louisiana and whatnot. And that's how you've got your the Acadian influence down there. So if you like Creole and you like that Southern French, well, that came from Acadia, and this is the area that they came from. Frankly, I think they did good by getting out of there. Here we go. I think I'm going to have to do a reverse on this thing. How are we doing on the comments here? Yeah, we get Carl and Christopher. Austrian Stacker is cranky. Cranky Stacker. Field guys in the house. Geez, all these great people. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. I mean, it's one of the few things that we need when we're a content creator. Okay, where are we? Oh, there's settings. I gotta switch that around. There we go. That works. Well. All right, we get really poor view on that one. That, believe it or not, is a quarter. All right, if anybody wants to come up, I'll put the link in here, and we can chit chat about coins and maybe even go. I'd like to go through what it's like to collect Canadian quarters and what books we have and what kind of information you can utilize to get that information. There we go. There you go. There's the StreamYard link there. Yeah. Yeah, this little beauty that we're looking at here, uh, as you can see, it's 2004, but these were not intended for circulation. They're actually, it's got a gold poppy in the middle. Very cool 25-cent piece. Those were actually embedded in a book. Yeah, I've been using the newer books that just come out from the Charlton. Make sure I got the right one here. There you go. All right, that's the newest Canadian book. You notice it says 2024, 2025. It's the first time I've seen that, which is very cool. So we'll take a look at that one that we just put up there, 2004. Give me an idea what we can do with it. Very interesting. There's actually 2004. There's several commemoratives that came out. They had the Common First Settlement and the Remembrance Day poppy for 2004. This one's unique again because it has the gold poppy, but it's essentially identical other than the gold center. The obverse, Susan Blunt and Susan Taylor did the obverse, and Robert R. Carmichael and Stan Whitten did the reverse. It's a good looking coin. So on the regular ones, the mintage is quite high. It's 28,972,000. But in the MS-66, they're worth $50, which is not too bad. It's always nice. This particular one, I don't know. They actually don't even show it on here. So put that back in. That's a pretty one. Yeah, I can show you the other one. Yeah, Cranky Stacker, that's absolutely true. I'm trying to get people to get used to doing their own research. Yeah, I know many of you have experienced this too. You get people that will ask you questions about their coins, but they won't do any of the research themselves. And I think it's really important they start learning how to do it. And not be afraid of using Google, not using coinsincanada.com's all right. The Saskatoon Coin Club's a great place to go. You can do that. Asking other people online is great. And of course, I would recommend everybody to start picking up books. And so if you got the red books, you got the gray sheets for the US, you got the Charlton Canadian coin catalogs of all sorts. And don't be afraid to pick up some of the older ones. Uh, yeah, I'm sure you are. Uh, some of the older books are, the values may differ because, of course, they've gone up or whatever. But uh, especially when you start talking about like banknotes, I picked up a banknote um, book, probably weighs about 10 pounds. That's 40 years old. But for the old notes that they have, the pictures and the information they have is fantastic. The only thing you're not going to get off it is the values. But you know what? If you're trying to save a buck, pick up some of the older books. Your local coin club, your coin stores might have a few. Look around, buy them online if you want to. It's super awesome. We just did the 2009, didn't we? Okay. Okay, yeah, that's quite. I know it was 2008 was the Remembrance Poppy. There's an example. This is the beauty of using your albums. As you can see, not gold on this one. Those are really, really nice coins, though. Should I get that so it's a little higher? Well, it's so blurry from that distance. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, that's not bad. You can see some details on it. Yeah, those are lovely. The one thing about Canadian coins, especially the newer stuff, of course, you're not going to be looking at getting a lot of silver unless you're getting stuff from the mint. Uh, oh, yeah, that's good point, Christopher. Yeah, what's it worth? And I have a 19 something halfpenny. What's it worth? It's just like, okay, uh, you know, it's there's ways that they can get a ballpark figure on it, but you know, first things first, it's handy to have. I swear by I know a lot of guys get the slabs, and the slabs are wonderful, but and they show a lot of information on the thing. But these albums, if you go to the back, it even shows the mintage, and at a glance, you can tell the key dates, which is very cool. You know, can't beat these. Can't beat these at all. So if you want to see a key date, you can zip along and look at it and go, oh, yeah, well, that's definitely not a key date. But geez, all the modern stuff, there's no key dates in these things at all. You want key dates, get older, start getting into the older stuff. This is from 53. I got the older one yet, but I can look in here and I go, okay, 1991, there were only 459,000 of those coins made. So I go back to 1991. I'll show you 91. This is a key date coin. Get out of there. That's a pretty nice coin. And as you can tell, it is a proof coin. And I will admit that I like shiny. I love seeing the beautiful halos on my coins. The nicer the coin I can get, the better. Yeah, it's that was a really nice one. Got a couple of really good ones. These are older ones here. Oh, let's see if I can get a really good older one. Okay, the 67. 67. Oh, no, it's a fairly high mintage. Let's go for a smaller one. Even though it's great, it's got the links on there and everything. It's very cool. The 54 was only 2 million. That's not too bad. And you see this isn't in quite as good a shape as the other ones, but it's a 54. Yeah. Yeah, reverse proof are nice. They really are. Okay, let's give you a really see how good you guys are with Canadian. I'm gonna bring out a couple of 1973s for you. Okay, I'm sure you guys have seen the 1973 small bust. These are your, you can see the lines on the shoulders. And this, your mountie. I should make that picture a little bigger. I'm still trying to learn how to use this OBS. I had Dimebag Darren show up at my place yesterday, and he helped me get this set up. Now, for a cheap thrill for some of you guys, how about a large bust 73? Unfortunately, mine has got a little scrape in it, which really setting. But you know, when you've got, you don't complain if you manage to find a large bust because they're kind of hard to get a hold of. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Okay. No, that's not it. I'm definitely failing in this effort. Hello. Nope. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, I guess I'm stuck this way until I can get more help. Okay. Oh, you're talking 50-cent pieces now. That's a whole different ball game. In the long and short canoe. Hmm. Interesting. And this is where the book comes in handy. Canoe 50s. Wait a minute, you're throwing me off here. Canoe, you have canoes on the dollar. Yeah, the 50-cent pieces typically they have the coat of arms on the reverse. And the coat of arms did change shape. I believe it was somewhere around 58 was the last time they used the old style. It's okay. You almost caught me there. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to get some of you guys on here in blue. Feel free to come and join me for a little while here. I'm only going to be on for another 24 minutes and then I'm going to rush off. But yeah, I was kind of focusing on the quarters today because they're the ones I brought out, which makes it a little easier. But the thing I loved about the Canadian quarters is that they have the different themes throughout the years. Whether it be they're going to do one province for each for 1 year, so you'll end up with all these different provincial designs on the reverse, which looks really cool. A lot of them will have different designs per month. So January through December, you have a different design in each. They've experimented with youngsters putting on different. Looks like stuff out of a kindergarten on there. They experiment, which is kind of nice. I love the stuff that they did for the Olympics, the Olympic Games. They did a really nice job on those ones there. And of course, you have the same thing. You've got colorized, non-colorized coins, and typically it's the non-colorized. There's only half as many, so they tend to be a little rare. And unfortunately, one of the things that Lighthouse, that's the Vista albums, they only went up to 2016 in the albums, and as you can see, I've had to put labels on them. A few of them have fallen behind a little bit on. Yeah, even got one there, Santa on there. That's a nice one. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So yeah, yesterday I ended up having Dimebag Darren Lowe and his wife come drop by, and I got to give them credit. Traveling all the way from BC, all the way through Edmonton and down to, I believe they're going to Lethbridge. That is a long trip. So yeah, I'll give them credit for that. They managed to pull that off. They had to be bloody exhausted by the time they got there. All righty. Is there anything else that you would like to see? I can pull some stuff out of my collection if you like. Well, thank you. Yeah, I as many of you know, I of course I have the circulation coins, but also I'm into the mint coins that have a military, or in my case, I'm a monarchist, so I have a lot of sets with the Queen and the royal family on it. But that's me, you know. That, and I have my Titanic coins. I've tried to collect them, but yeah, it all depends on what you want to do. Um, I'm actually just now starting to rebuild my U.S. collection. I feel like I got this big hole in my collection now since I sold off everything I had, and so now I'm rebuilding all my U.S. stuff. And I have to admit, it seems like it's taken forever, but it's well worth waiting for, and collect what you like. Uh, I did a little video on that one, but I picked up a little set, which is get some. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, let me bring those out. We'll get into the older stuff. You're like 1919 25 cents. Now we're talking. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Lisa. There we go. 1919. $5,852,262 ranges from a very good 8 for $8 all the way up. The top listing they have is an MS65 at $3,750. Woo! I wonder what mine looks like. I haven't looked at them in a long time. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's see. Let's see if we can get a bit of an evaluation on that one. Okay. Yeah, the leaves are pretty well worn. So you don't see a lot of the design on those ones. Still pretty good. Really, you got to be more judgmental with the obverse than the reverse. They're going to grade it. They're going to be looking more at this side. And got to admit, the wording looks wonderful. You can see how little there's left on the band on the crown, and the mustache is blended in a little bit. So that's not the highest grade, but still not bad. Let's compare it to one of the older ones. Let's look at this one. There's one for you. Look at the leaves on this one. Now that's got fantastic detail. Yeah, that's probably one of my better coins there. That's 730,392 of those were made. So it's a very low mintage. Not as low as the 1880 one. I would love to have that one. Yeah, that one turned out. That's one of my favorite coins. This one. You guys have any coins that you want to share? Please do. I'd love to see them. Okay, I don't have the 36 dot under the wreath, but that's the last year. I do have a 1936, but it's last year. You're going to see this design. Again, detail's not too bad. And again, you see a lot of wear around the band and around the mustache area. And you take a look front. But still, that's a good looking coin. You know, we went through a big change in 36. And that brought on the 37, which was our first one, where we no longer had all those wonderful maple leaves. This one's actually in pretty good shape. So you're looking for the details in the hair. Yeah, and variations. Any of you guys are looking for variations on these coins, get into your book. Look, it can be placement of a letter in relationship to denticles. It could be, you know, the strap on the dress that the queen might be wearing. It could be just little subtle things that you have to look for. And it's like the U.S. coins, where, of course, you get a lot with the error coins and things like the spinning horse and all this stuff. I'm not a big. I won't turn down an error coin, but I'm not a big collector of error coins, where some people are really huge on them. I haven't gotten the high relief yet. What is the high relief? Okay, it's a mixture. I'm looking for the high relief on the 52. And of course, 52, you realize that's the last year for the king. King George VI. Well, I guess that's like any of us. When you're collecting coins, you try your best to get the best quality one you can. And I mean, many of mine are fillers. Hello, Frostbite. How you doing? But I mean, we were taught that EF or VF should be your minimum for a collection. But I mean, I have coins that are hold, that are space fillers, because The coins, if they were in good shape, would cost me thousands of dollars. Um, I'm still missing my 47 maple leaf and 48, but that's the silver dollars that I'm missing. We're talking silver. I can show you. I can show you the old silver dollars. And we can even look up any of the details that you might want to see. As I slide over here. Before anybody asks me this question again, 1935, first silver dollar for Canada. It was the Silver Jubilee. But there's my silver dollar collection. As you can see, I'm missing the 47 maple leaf and the 48, but I don't have $4,000 to spend. Oh, thank you for dropping by, Cranky Stacker. It was a pleasure. So take care of yourself. Again, by just looking in the back, you can see, okay, the 47 maple leaf, there were only just over 21,000 of them made. So you imagine how hard that one is. But the 48, 18,780. That's why they're worth a fortune. BH Ringer, hi, how are you doing? Put that link in chat if anybody wants to come up again. Yeah, this is my favorite silver book. It's heavy, but yeah, I'm always looking for unique pieces. I just wish they had more of them. So I'm curious, what are most of you folks out there into collecting? Is you have a sizable Canadian collection? Yeah, these are what I picked up this week. Probably terrible view on this thing, but not bad. Yeah, these ones here are just the ones I picked up this week. I'm doing a grab bag swap. Actually, got another one coming in here. This is a 1940 half crown. It's 50% silver. Oh, that looks terrible. Yeah, these are all going to be going into my world album. I used to have a separate one for my US, but I don't think I'll need one for a while. Wow, that's awesome. Rebecca, did you know what? I was supposed to get in touch with you for something, and I can't remember what it was for. I know you're working on a special project for Tracy. But I will catch you in private, find out what's going on. Exactly. That's why I said we'll talk about, which is wonderful. Yeah, I hope Dimebag made it down to Lethbridge. I was hoping he'd end up buying a place nearby. Would have been cool having someone close that I've known on YouTube for quite some time now. And there's Ogre Coins. Hello there. No problem, Rebecca. Thanks. Yeah, I've been collecting little jars like this from Costco. They were actually like a creme brulee or something that came in them. And I've discovered that they make great sorting jars, so I can sort all my coins out with as I go along. Ones that are commemoratives, I put them aside, put them in flips, and make them available. And the rest of them I just wait until I build up a roll and cash them in and buy groceries. Yeah, my goodness. Oh, and good news for those of you that may not know already. Our good friend Dale, he's finally got himself a place. Apparently, he's moving into a small town, dead center of England. So he's just as far away from every coast. So that's kind of a nice place to be able to move to. So he can go either way, whichever way he wants to go. But I've seen pictures of it. There, it looks like something right out of the 17th century. But it's supposed to be a lovely house, and I was worried for him. So once he gets settled in, he'll be back as my co-host, and hopefully I also get to see Austrian Stacker. He's got himself a new occupation or new job somewhere, and he's really busy. He's been burning the candle in both ends. So these are gents that I really want to get up, and the three of us are going to be covering. I'll cover Canadian. Dale will be doing UK, and Austrian Stacker will be doing Austria and Europe. So it's going to be quite a fun collab when that gets going. In the meantime, I'm going to encourage everybody to get involved in that daily Canadian coin challenge. Now, here's the thing. Every 7 days, I'll send a sticker out to somebody who has actually done a little research, not just saying, "Oh, nice looking coin." No, that doesn't count. You got to actually pull a book out and actually, or look online. I don't care if you Google the information. Whoever contributes the most and the more detailed, the better. And research. I want to encourage people to research their coins. It's part of the hobby that I need you to start looking at. No, no, I don't think so, Christopher. But anyway, by doing this, I'm getting you involved in that part of the hobby where you're identifying and eventually cataloging your coins. And cataloging your coins can be on Numista, or you can use a Excel spreadsheet or whatever. Do it. I encourage it. You want to know what's in your collection, especially heaven forbid you pop your clogs and you leave this collection to somebody. They won't have a clue what it's worth, and you want to know the details that you have in your collection. So I want you to get used to it. By doing the competition, you'll earn yourself either a sticker, or if you're really diligent, I'll throw in a coin with the sticker as well. It may not be the fanciest coin in the world, but you'll get a coin on the deal. Now, at 42 days and 84 days, I am going to review all the way back to the beginning and see who has contributed the most. So at 42 days, I'll look at who contributed the most, and whoever has contributed the most, I'll send you a 5-ounce copper round, and these are really gorgeous. I know they're not silver, but they're big copper rounds. They're gorgeous, and that will be your prize for having put forth so much effort. And it doesn't matter where you are on the planet, I'll send it to you. And it'll be yours for your collection, which is kind of a cool deal. So let's encourage others to join in. If you know somebody that hasn't done it yet, please let them know. Also, I'm really, I can almost smell 1,000 subscribers. If you can get folks to come and visit, and if they haven't subscribed, please let them know that I need to get them to subscribe, and maybe play some of my playlists so I can get the hours up. That way, I've been dragging my feet on YouTube now since 2011, and this is as far as I've managed to get. They are a fun way. They are a fun way, and unlike even going to Nick Molnar's channel, and he does some great videos on different coins. Uh, he provides the information, whereas I'm trying to pull the information from you after you've done some research. Quite a ways. I'd have to look it up now, but I probably need about 3,000 hours. Not that much. Yeah, they were really late coming out with the Charlton this year, and like I mentioned, it's they've got the 20. It's not just 1 year. It's 2024, 2025. Where's that thing? Oh yeah. Okay, I've just lost my book. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I just picked this up the other day. I try to get a new one every year, but it took forever for this one. So there. So it's the first time I've seen it where they got the 2 years. But that's a really good. I love this book. This is my favorite one for Canadians. Even though I do have other ones that I use. Ah, well, that's good to see. Yeah, you know what? Frostbite, I understand that. It's one of those things where a lot of people procrastinate on it. But I'll tell you what I'll do. If any of you want to email me, if you're collecting Canadian coins, this is for Canadian. I will send you a template for all for your Excel. It's an Excel, and I will send that template to you, and you can use that to start collecting or to keep track of your coins. And that's this is the same one I use. I built the thing quite a while ago now. Where are you here? There you go. There's the email address right there across the screen, just running by, and I will make sure that you get that. Otherwise, you've got other resources out there that you can use. This one is probably the simplest one, except you don't get to put all the pictures up and everything. Yeah, the large Victorian cents are gorgeous. They are. Um, yeah, it's. I have not enjoyed currency as much since 2012 when they did away with the pennies, because now everything is either rounded down or rounded up, and that's when you that's when you actually use money. because now it's such a pain. Everybody's just using their debit cards. Uh, you try to pay cash at the till now, the bloody cashier looks like they're in shock. So, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to figure out change now. You know, bring out your calculator, boys and girls, because back in the day we had to do it in our heads. Well, it has gotten fairly quiet in here. I've had no one coming up. So I am going to leave you with wishing you a really great week this week. Please stop by again next week. Hopefully, my next history session will not be as detailed. That was a rough one. That one was tough because that was a mess. Living back then, you didn't know who were friends and who were enemies. It was terrible. So yeah, I know. That's West Edmonton Mall. There's signs on many of the stores that say that they no longer accept cash, and that's bad. So in the meantime, thank you for joining me on here, and have a wonderful week. God bless you all. Take care.